post on YouTube. Um, all right, I'm gonna try it. Okay, there we go. Live on YouTube. That's an old post. I don't know what that is, y'all. But anyhow, I'm glad to be with you, and I am glad uh, anybody is with us. I'm still learning this thing. Sometimes you have to be like the Michael Jordan saying, just do it. And I have been working, learning, and I'm still learning, but I knew I just had to do it. So uh, that's what I did. I got somebody trying to call me on my phone right now, my homie. Uh, I'm not going to answer. This is what I'm doing with Facebook Live right now. I mean, Facebook Live, listen at me, YouTube Live. What I'm doing, y'all, is I'm promoting um, my new vlog. And the name of the new vlog is IET with Mike C. Uh, I actually have been vlogging for probably about a month and a half, maybe 2 months now. And I've shared some of the information on those vlogs. The latest one I did was just yesterday, and I talked about going YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live. I have a new I have some new software. It's called Ecamm Live. What Ecamm Live does is Ecamm Live allows you to be able to stream to multiple sites at the same time. So I can stream to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Actually, it says it allows you to stream up to 30 different sites at the same time. I don't see myself doing that. I actually don't see myself doing more than YouTube and Facebook at the same time because the other sites have uh, time restraints that I'm not totally familiar with yet. And today I'm actually just doing YouTube Live. So maybe by Wednesday, I'll be able to go to YouTube and Facebook Live at the same time. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm still learning this stuff. And just to give you a little bit of information on now, before I do that, I'm trying to look at my screen because I'm supposed to be able to tell if folks have made comments. I don't see any comments yet. I'm also supposed to be able to tell actually how many folks are on, and I don't see where that is just yet. So I'm still learning this thing. I'm still learning uh, live, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, and I'm still learning Ecamm. But I am loving Ecamm right now. I'm absolutely loving. Look, through Ecamm Live, one of the things I said in yesterday's post, yesterday's vlog, was when I talked about creating where IET comes from. I talked about how when I was in high school, I loved watching Johnny Carson. I stayed up every night after the 11 o'clock news went off at 11:30 to watch Johnny Carson until 12:30. Even when I had to be to school at 6 a.m. And yes, there were times I had to be to school at 6 a.m. because I had a job at the school. My job was walking around 2 hours before school started picking up paper. I had a little poker, and I would walk around and pick up poker. And I had to be there, start at 6 a.m. And I'm going to tell you, I found some money sometimes. I think the most I found one day was $60. So it wasn't a bad job. But even when I had to be to school at 6 o'clock, which meant I had to get up no later than 5 a.m., I still watched Johnny Carson. Did not go to bed until 12:30. Um, I love Johnny Carson show. I also talked about Good Morning America. I was a big fan of Good Morning America. And then, as I said yesterday, when Bryant Gumbel went to the Today Show, started watching the Today Show. I also love, and he retired this year. His show ended, I believe, a few months ago. Um, Tom Joyner Morning Show. I used to listen to that every day on the radio. And I really like Steve Harvey's radio show. So what I did was I took those five shows, and this IET, the format will resemble some of each one of those shows. So you will see uh, all of those shows rolled into IET. Now, the other thing that struggling with, I have been struggling with, is I'm a minister of the gospel. And being a minister of the gospel, everything about me, everything that I do should emanate from that. And in order, not going to say in order, but this vlog should also resemble that. And I struggled with that for a while. I struggled with that because I was looking at numbers. You know, there's no question, everybody knows. And this is not going to be a religious site, but everybody knows that when you start talking religion, you lose a lot of people. But that's who I am. I'm a minister of the gospel. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be sharing the gospel. So that's what I have to do. And actually, I just settled on that yesterday. Before yesterday, it was just going to be a site focused on information, entertainment, and truth. And to me, truth actually is the gospel. That's where truth emanates from for me. The truth emanates from the word of God for me. But I didn't want to turn people off because I was looking at numbers. I wanted the numbers, but I can't do that. I'm not comfortable doing that. So this site will not be one where we are beating people over the head with the Bible. It will not be what they call a holy roller site or anything like that. This site will be what I like to look at as um, modern faith. Now, I'm not going to call it. I was talking to a friend of mine about an hour ago, and he said to me, "Well, I'm spiritual. I'm not religious." Now, I don't have a problem with you saying you're not religious. I don't have a problem with you saying that you're spiritual, but you have to be careful because when people refer and say that they're spiritual, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're following Christ, and that's okay if they don't want to do that. I follow Christ. So I don't refer to myself as being spiritual. I am spiritual within that realm, but I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. So everything that I do should be emanating from that. So this vlog will emanate from that. But if you know me, you know that I'm not the type of person I'm not preachy, okay? I would rather you see Christ in me than me have to beat you down with the Bible. I just refuse to do that. But I am proud of my faith. I will honor my faith. Um, and in doing so, I will honor you. So I hope that you can accept that and will continue to follow us. If you haven't yet, subscribe. Please subscribe. Give us a thumb up. Give us a thumbs up, a like. Um, I haven't changed the name yet. Right now, if you're on here, it's probably saying Michael Cleveland. What I don't like about that, one of the things I don't like about that is there is another guy named Michael Cleveland who's pretty prevalent. He's a Christian as well. I believe he is a Christian singer or musician. So a lot of times when people are looking for me, he's been on YouTube a lot longer than I have. They're directed to him. And so I will change it. What I'm debating about is do I change it before the actual launch? If I haven't said yet, the launch of the vlog will be June 1st. So do I change the name before the launch, or do I wait until the day of the launch, June 1st, and change the name? Another thing I was looking at doing is maybe just changing this name temporarily to Make It Happen with Mike C. That is the current name of my podcast. I also have a podcast which I'm going to be relaunching on June 1st. And I have a webpage also titled Make It Happen with Mike C, which I will be relaunching as well on June 1st. If I said May 1st, I meant June 1st. So another thing I'm thinking about doing, like I said, is temporarily changing the name of this vlog, which is currently Michael Cleveland, to Make It Happen with Mike C until June the 1st, and then changing everything to IET with Mike C. Or I may just do that today, change everything to IET. That may be less confusing, so that's probably what I will do. Now, a little bit about the podcast. The podcast actually, when I created the podcast was created to help anyone who wanted to be successful in the music industry. So it was strictly a music industry podcast and predominantly a Christian based podcast. IET is not strictly music. Um, the entertainment portion, of course, will be music, but the entertainment portion will also be comedy and maybe even sports. Um, I have my college roommate, David Fry. I used to call him Hollywood. We called him Hollywood when we were in college at Santa Ana College. David Hollywood Fry. The entertainment portion might be Dave might come on and talk about what it took for him to make it to the league, what it took for him to get to the NFL. Or maybe we'll have Chris come on and talk about that, or Scott Galbraith. All these guys actually made it to the NFL. Tony Hargang was out there to y'all. We may have them come on and talk about that. Um, that will be the entertainment portion. And then the truth factor is, as you have heard, changing. The truth factor, to me, as I stated earlier, truth is the word of God. That's truth. But within that, what you will find is, I'll give you an example. Look, I want to I want to stay away from politics to a degree here, but I can't do that totally. What I am going to attempt to do is I want to be impartial, and impartial in this manner. Uh, I won't tell anybody who to vote for. I won't tell anybody what to vote for. And if I'm successful, it will be difficult for you to know whether I am a Republican or Democrat. And that in itself is somewhat of a challenge. A lot of folks say, how can you be a Christian and not be a Republican and not be conservative? Actually, that's pretty easy for me. I almost told you what party I belong to. I'm not going to do that. But I will say is there are pros and cons, of course, to both parties. A lot of people tend to vote issue rather than party. Um, I'm not going to tell you where I stand on that either. And I'm not going to tell you where you should stand. What I'm going to tell you is what we're going to endeavor to do here at IET with Mike C is share the truth, whether it's politically motivated, whether it's coming from a Republican perspective or a Democratic perspective or an what's the third party independent perspective. We're going to share truth with you, whatever side it comes from. And for me, frankly, honestly, I, I can't name many politicians, regardless of what party they belong to, that I trust because I frankly don't believe that they actually are doing what they're supposed to do, what they're in office to do, which is support me as a citizen. I don't think they support you as a citizen. I believe that most politicians are motivated by big business, by special interest, by money, and that's where they go. They go where the money is. That's what I believe. I don't care what party they belong to. Another aspect that's real life for that for me is that being an African American, um, they don't tend to vote in my favor. I guess you could say. Um, that's my spill on the political aspect of it. So IET with Mike C. Information, entertainment, and truth. I don't think that there is enough of either of those. I enjoy research. So The information portion of it for me is going to be fun, but I also realize this: I can't do all of this by myself. So I will have people working with me. I may have some college students working with me on the information aspect of it. Um, some of the guests that have already committed to the show are an artist out of Sacramento by the name of Mouthpiece. Um, my boy Dave Tolliver, formerly of Men at well, still with Men at Large, and I've got a few other. I've got some surprises coming for you. So on the entertainment portion, what I'm attempting to do on this 14 days consecutive live is I'm going to be attempting to have a different guest every day starting Thursday. Uh, some will be singers, some will be comedians, some will be speakers. Uh, Actually, I have a very good poet in mind that I haven't spoke to, so I'm going to reach out to her today to see if she will be interested in coming on one of these 14 days live. Also, I'm looking to keep this thing measured. Um, there have been a lot of questions I've seen on YouTube in relation to how long should a live show be. And what I have heard consistently is as long as it needs to be, but as short as it can be. Give you an example. YouTube really likes it when you do at least 10 minutes. The longer that people are on board there, the more YouTube likes it. So uh, the live version will be a minimum of 10 minutes. I'm sure I'm going to go over 10 minutes each day, but I'm looking at between 20 and 30 minutes, just so you know. I'm looking at between 20 and 30 minutes each day. And again, I'm looking at having the guests come on starting Thursday. Uh, and actually, now this Thursday's version, no, that won't be this Thursday. I've got a guy who's going to come on, but he is back to work. Amen. He's back to work, so I'm going to have to record him, and then I'll come on live. And again, due to Ecamm Live, what I can do is I can actually show you recordings. I can record stuff and show it to you. So we're going to record his segment this Thursday evening, and I will probably show that one day next week. I might show it Friday, but we'll see. I'll let you know. Young brother, uh, uh, strong in the word, just very dedicated to what he's doing. Very impressive young brother. So I'm sure that you will enjoy that segment. I wanted to talk a little bit again about COVID 19 as I did yesterday. And the main thing I said yesterday, which I'm going to ask of you again today, is folks, just be safe rather than sorry. I understand people want to go back to work. States actually have already started to roll out the process for us to go back, uh, for folks to go back to work to get off of the stay in shelter, stay home order. Be careful with that. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I will tell you what I'm doing, and I will encourage you to do the same because I believe it is the safe procedure, and that is I'm still to the level. I'm in Texas. I'm in Dallas, Texas, Plano to be exact. And our governor released the stay in shelter. What about a week ago? I believe it was. But if I don't have to go somewhere for something, I'm not. I'm still staying home. And if I go, I have a box of masks over there. I'm gonna wear a mask. Now, even with the stay in shelter, stay home rule, I still was going out every day because I was walking every day. And initially, I wasn't wearing a mask when I did that because when I go out on my walk, I walk for about an hour and a half. I didn't pass anybody. There was nobody out. There was nobody around, so I didn't feel the need to wear a mask. Um, Now, I'll tell you this: I went to the grocery store about 3 days ago, and again, our governor has lifted the shelter stay home order. Um, what I would tell you is probably 95% 95% of the people that I saw, not only in the grocery store, well, no, I'll say this: about 95% of the people I saw in the grocery store had masks on. Actually, maybe about 98% had masks on. When I left outside of the grocery store and before I went inside the grocery store, I would say probably about 80% of the people that I saw had masks on. So until we have a vaccine, uh, I'm going to continue to be safe rather than sorry, meaning I'm going to continue to wear my mask. I will probably wear gloves a lot of the times as well. And I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I'm encouraging you and hoping that you do the same thing. Be safe rather than sorry. This virus is nothing to play with. There are, I believe, if I remember correctly, over 90,000 people have died already from this virus. And it hasn't stopped. The virus hasn't gone away, folks. It's still with us. So be safe rather than sorry. And for those of you that are African American, you're taking the blunt of this thing. Most of the people that have died from COVID-19 have been African American. And I must say, I do wonder if there is a parallel between that and the lack of concern that our leadership have for this virus. Just a thought. Um, we have to we have to be safe rather than sorry, especially those of you that have high blood pressure, those of you that have like I have some friends that have recovered from cancer. You're high risk. If you are high risk, you have to continue to stay in shelter, in my opinion. Man, I love going to the movies. Before this, I went to the movies pretty much every Tuesday. One of the reasons why I went to the movies on Tuesdays is because on Tuesdays, in most theaters that I know, I haven't been to one yet, they're half off on Tuesdays, y'all. Yeah, that's what I do on Tuesdays. I go to the movies, but I haven't been to the movies yet. And actually, I am glad that our governor has not opened up movie theaters yet. So the movie theaters, to my knowledge, are still closed. Um, if they were open, and even if they were saying what we're going to do is we are only going to have, you know, a quarter, 25% capacity, I still wouldn't go to the movies. I still wouldn't go. Um, there's a lot of things I still won't do until we have a vaccine. So, uh, the information aspect of IET, we'll talk about stuff like that. Um, as we get closer to November, we'll talk a little bit more and more about the elections. We'll share information with you. And a lot of it, I'm sure, will be information that you may not be able to get uh, on the news, on the television. So that's going to be information. If the Super Bowl was coming up, we'd be talking about the Super Bowl. That's information. It's entertainment as well, but it's information. So as far as the vlog goes, uh, every vlog may not be a combination of all three: information, entertainment, and truth. Some vlogs may be all entertainment. Some may be all information. Some may be all truth. And I say that because you will find aspects of all of those in each one. So that's what we're going to do. I, I told you, man, I've been struggling with the truth aspect. The truth to me is the Word of God. That's truth. And we hope to espouse that in everything that we do without being preachy, without being holy roller, without beating you over the head with the Bible. Jesus never did that. When Jesus was here on earth, what he did was he shared truth. He lived truth. He is truth. That's what he did. So, in this aspect, I definitely want to be like Christ. So that's what we're going to try to do. Now, also, we'll probably have some ministers, some pastors come on from time to time, and maybe they will talk about. One of the things I talked about on the podcast was, as a Christian, how should you be looking at Donald Trump? How should you be feeling about Trump? Well, first off, I can tell you you're supposed to love him, you're supposed to pray for him. You don't have to like him, but you should be loving him and praying for him because he would not be where he is if God did not allow it. So we'll be talking about that kind of stuff. I may have a pastor come on and give his views on that or on how we're supposed to look at, for example, the Kaepernick thing. Uh, we'll talk about that. How should, as a Christian, how should we respond to that? How should we be looking at that? That'll be the truth aspect. Back to the podcast. The podcast is 50 to 60 minutes long. So I will be able to share a lot more on the podcast. So please, right now the podcast is Make It Happen with Mike C. Get a chance, go to iTunes and check out the podcast. If you have a Google phone, Google has a podcast app. You can check it out there as well. Stitcher, you can check it out on Stitcher. So that's the podcast, 50 to 60 minutes. It was at one point, it has been up to now, strictly a music site, but that is changing. It will have the same format as the vlog, um, information, entertainment, and truth. It might be more entertainment coming from a musical perspective, at least for a while, but it will engulf the same things as the vlog. And then we have the web page, as I talked about. The web page is where that's the home base for everything. The web page, man, there's so much stuff that's going to be on the web page. It's just so much. And I don't mind sharing this. I'll tell you this. Although I think it's too busy now, I really used to like the way it used to look. Tom Joyner has a web page. I don't know if maybe somebody else owns it now. It's called blackamericaweb.com. Check it out. Blackamericaweb.com engulfs everything black, everything African American, from a political perspective, a sports perspective, a financial perspective, everything. You can go to Black America Web and you can find anything dealing with that's prevalent for African Americans there. This site is going to be somewhat like that, but not directed at African Americans. As I stated yesterday, if you have moved into a new town and you want to find a good church, a home church, we will have something on there that will tell you what to look for when you're looking for a home church. We'll probably have something on there that tells you what to look for when you're looking for a good school for your kids. So if you're considering, say you want to move into Dallas, we'll have some information on there on communities, what to look for in a community that you want to move to if you're going to move to Dallas. So it's going to have stuff like that. It's going to actually have some music stuff, of course. We will probably have a top 10 or a top 25 music listing every week, top 25 in music. And I'm not sure at this point if it will be just gospel music or if it will be all music as long as the music is not vocal. So, of course, I'm sorry to say, folks, we won't have no gangster rap on that. Can't do that. So we will have a top 10 or top 25 though. Uh, it's going to be informational. So right now, again, the name of the webpage is Make It Happen with Mike C. Go to it, check it out. It's basic right now. There's not much on it at all right now. But give us a couple of weeks. Um, by June 1st, hopefully it will be very informational. And it will continue to grow as the months go by. That's Make It Happen with Mike C, which will soon be IET with Mike C. So IET with Mike C is the vlog, is the podcast, and the web page. All of those coming. Right now, the podcast and the web page are Make It Happen with Mike C. The vlog right now is just simply Michael Cleveland. But I think I'm going to change that today. I think I'm going to change the vlog today to IET with Mike C, just to eliminate any type of confusion. So, where we at right now? We are at, that's 30 minutes. Wow, that was a quick 30 minutes. So, I will be a little more educated on Ecamm Live tomorrow. I will be a little bit more educated on Restream, which will allow me to stream to both um, YouTube and Facebook at the same time. and I will be a little bit more educated on being able to pull up comments, put them on the screen, so you will be able to see them on the screen. I'm going to try and do that tomorrow. I thank you for joining us today, and I hope that you can come back tomorrow and just check us out tomorrow. Make some comments. Like again, give us a like, give us that thumbs up, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, just hit that subscribe button and subscribe. Thank you for being with us. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And until then, God bless you and yours. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.